I was talking to him about this whole other thing.
Yeah.
Are we on there?
Howdy, partners. Welcome to another episode of
Wasted Wagons. Oh! Woo!
Out of there, partner.
Oh! Tonight's episode is brought to you by
Meatpalooza.
Meatapalooza.
Oh, this meat is so
We're
God.
at Todd's house
It's God.
in the backyard. We just did a Meatapalooza barbecue.
A Friday night special of Wasted
Friday
Wagons.
night special. We literally have tons of fucking meat. It's chicken.
It's a literal
brats,
sausage party.
It is a sausage fest, everybody. Sausage fest. But anyway, I digress.
We got a lot of meat and we got a lot of topics to talk about
A
too.
lot of dripping meat on pan.
As we discussed off air, today is sadly the 9-year anniversary of Robin Williams' death. So I think we're all going to talk about maybe some of our favorite movies by him. Maybe a couple of discussion about what's our favorite, why. Also get into a little baseball talk. A couple of us are going to see to a baseball card show tomorrow. Be interesting. I haven't been to one of those in a while.
Card show.
We're going to talk about a little about what gripes us. I mean, there's something that really pissed me off today and kind of pisses me off every week. But
what grinds my gears.
exactly.
Mark that for this. What grinds your gears today?
All right.
Anyway, let's get started.
Well, how about we start with
What are we
the
drinking?
beverage of choice? I
Oh,
mean,
Yes.
what are we all drinking today, fellas?
Well, I am drinking Topo Chico, the margarita hard seltzer. It's the tropical pineapple. And only because my wife bought a buttload of these at Sam's. And buttload. And I just got to finish them. So, yeah, that's what I'm drinking currently. But it's going to, definitely move to something else as the night progresses.
The prickly pear.
Leave it to the Cuban guy to pronounce it Topo Chico instead of
Topo
Topo.
Is it Topo Chico
No,
or
it's
Topo Chico?
Topo.
Or
Topo Chico.
It is
Don't be a gringo.
One of life's great mysteries.
Topo. It's Spanish.
it's a can full of alcohol. That's what it is, folks.
Sean, what are you drinking over there?
I am drinking a old classic, Shinerbach. And I have a variety pack of 6 different kinds. And, of course, at the moment, I'm drinking just the plain old Shinerbach. But the Ruby Redbirds in the cooler. What else? The light blondes. What else did I bring? The dark. Yeah, all different kinds.
I bring the dark.
Hey.
Ooh! If I can cut in there, Shinerbach is. I know we've had on the first couple of episodes of our pod, we've talked about our favorite beers to bring the crawfish boils and things like that. But at the same time, my favorite beer overall would be what Sean is drinking right now is the traditional Shinerbach.
I can say I was surprised to see it's only 4.4, so it's it's easy drinking.
I'm sorry, Travis. It's kind of hard paying attention. Todd's cutting the wiener over here.
He is going O.J. Simpson on that piece of sausage.
It's a tough piece of meat.
If y'all heard that,
He's
in the
going
background,
Bruce Jenner on that piece of meat.
Oh,
He's cutting it off the table.
it's a little spicy.
Oh, baby.
It's a little spicy.
It's a Whole Foods teriyaki pineapple sausage. Very, very delicious and tasty.
How was your Whole Foods trip today?
Well, let me tell you something, Pat. Every week when I go, I get frustrated. Not only, right when I walk in, obviously, the produce aisle is like right there when you walk in, right? The little produce section.
Like most grocery stores.
That always creates a little anxiety for me because everything is just extremely close together and it's always crowded when I go in there. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Same thing for Trader Joe's.
So,
Usually.
I get anxiety in the produce section, but I think the thing that mainly pisses me off about Whole Foods is that every fucking time I try and go grab a pack of chicken, somebody is blocking it. Every time. Today, I left the goddamn grocery without chicken and I had to go back inside because I had skipped it because somebody was blocking it.
So
I don't understand.
Everybody's hovering the chicken off.
Yes, and I don't understand why. What's so complicated about a fucking pack of chicken? Just grab it and go. You're looking at the prices? Are you looking at the amount of fat on it? What the fuck are you looking at? Just grab the pack of chicken and go. Well, that was one of my biggest pet peeves about Walmart. I don't think I've been back to Walmart since COVID. So if COVID brought one good thing, it was me to not go to Walmart anymore. But I used to get so frustrated when people would park their carts right in the middle of an aisle,
Oh.
almost every time, to where it's just blocking the whole aisle. So if we're doing a grinds my gears segment, that's what really pissed me off today.
I want to add too, what grinds my gears at a grocery store is probably 9 times out of 10 the checkout line.
Is it the blue hairs that use the coupons?
I don't know. I mean, it's just I kind of don't want to say right now, but it's the geriatric group.
The blue hairs, yes.
Not, I don't want to offend anybody, but
Hey,
you know, hey,
we're gonna be there one day. We're gonna be those
It's-
people. So,
look,
Hey,
I
get it.
I get that. It's just just
We're
kind
gonna
of
be
move
there.
it along.
We're going to be there sooner than we think.
Yeah,
Move it along.
the people that will stand or put their cart in the middle of the aisle and then like go grab something, look at it, inspect the packaging, read everything, and like, hey, move your shit to the side, or just it's a bag of potatoes. Get it and go. Do you want red potatoes? Do you want russets? You want gold? Do you want a mix? Just get a bag of whatever you're getting and get out the way.
I think y'all bringing up a good point, though. It's probably mostly retirees who haven't spent the full day at work and have to go to kids' extracurricular activities and things like that.
Yeah, but I see people our age or younger doing it too. It's everybody does it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it before too, but I try not to. But people just get in the aisle and they put their shit in the middle and like they walk over to where they're leaving their cart. So you got to go around them, and then you can look at them being like, "Hey, why is your cart in the middle?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry." Like, don't give me an attitude. Just move your shit to the side.
Now, I don't know if Jessica puts the cart in the middle of the aisle, but she's certainly guilty of picking up a box, looking at it for a good fucking 5 minutes.
Listen, every now and then you might have to.
Cart.
Let's say you have an allergy. You need to read an ingredient box to make sure there's something that doesn't really that jives with you and your body and whatever. That's fine, but like, keep it moving.
I agree.
Ugh, they really grinds my gears.
Grinds my gears too, but like I'm drinking a Spaten beer today from. Sorry, we left off here. I'm drinking Spaten beer from Munich, Germany, and it's very, very delicious. It's very crisp and refreshing.
German beers are my
First place I
favorite.
ever tried it was Oktoberfest, and I fell in love with it.
Nice koozie you got there.
It's a Mississippi State 2021 National Championship baseball
There you go.
koozie.
Hail State.
Thank you,
I'm about
Patrick.
to crack open the Shiner Black Lager. I have not tried this yet, but it's a very
That looks fancy.
dark can.
That does
If you've
look
never,
nice.
it's very good. I've had it.
And I will share just quick, not to stereotype anybody, but the reason I don't go to Walmart anymore is because every time I tried to
Poor
back in the
people.
day,
Oh man,
by the time I got home, any frozen foods, ice cream, anything, because the lines were so long, would be melted in the car. And it was like, what's the point of going here?
so what are we stereotyping? Old people, poor people? What's going on there?
That's not for, hey,
The blue
well,
hairs, the bums,
the
which
blue-
ones?
just the blue hairs.
I will throw in, I was in a like 10 items or less line one time, and there was a cart packed, overflowing with shit in front of me. And the cashier had to be like, nah, you can read the sign, go
right.
on another line. And you heard crickets from the person with the giant basket. It's like, no, you know what that sign says. Get out of my line.
File this for later. Top 5 things that piss you off in the grocery store. That could be a whole episode by itself.
Oh, I can
But
see
let
that.
me tell
Save
you,
it for
I
next
can
week.
see that.
there is nothing worse, or especially for me, like Winn Dixie doesn't have the best selection of everything per se. I prefer Rouse's because they have a little more specialized stuff, but there's no self checkout at Rouse's, and it's fine. So when Dixie's closer to my house, I'll go there because it's close, convenient self checkout. I can get in and out, bang, no problem. But when there's like only 2 of the 6 self checkouts open, and I gotta sit there and wait for some blue hair, as we call it, try to find their item, scan the barcode, and this and that, brother, that grinds my gears. It's like I'm trying to get in and out. I got 2 items. I just want to get in and out, but no.
My favorite grocery store, and I don't want to, we're not sponsored by anybody just yet. But
Just
my
yet.
favorite,
Just yet.
my favorite is the Pardos.
Yeah.
You walk in and walk out with whatever you have. There is no wait at the cashier. It's it's really a fantastic place to shop. I go there quite often. They have a nice hot lunch buffet.
Locally owned here in New
it's
Orleans for
locally
people who
owned,
don't
yeah,
know what
yeah.
Zapardo's
It's,
is. Yeah.
It's a great place. But anyway,
I can vouch for the Target self checkout because that's where I go primarily.
That's the best.
And the self checkouts that they put in both locations close to us, it's been a game changer.
So, Mike talking about Zupardo's, I think the new location has definitely cleaned up its act. But I know Todd and I used to work there years ago, and that old location was nothing pretty. That was a pretty filthy grocery store back in the day. Not to slander Zupardo's by any means, but they have come a long way because I have been back there. They got quite an extensive liquor section, and that's where I got one of my latest bottles of High West bourbon. But anyway, when I'm drinking tonight, I went to a local grocery store kind of on the other side of Metairie, Dorgnac's, and I bought
their biggest competitor.
and I bought Southern Prohibition Blonde Ale, Susie B Blonde Ale. It's actually really good. It's got kind of quite a unique can. It's got a girl leaning over the side of the car with a cigarette in her mouth. Pretty eye-catching can.
It's a good can.
Beer tastes pretty good. So I've got no complaints over here.
I gotta say, it's fancier looking than Sean's Shiner Bock.
Well, since
My
we're-
all black can.
All black
And
can.
that black label one's pretty damn
And
good,
look,
though.
that's eye candy. Don't get me wrong.
It's pretty tasty.
Does,
The Shiner one's eye candy, but I don't know. I'm looking at this.
Does
this
said
can
girl
that
on this
Travis
can
has.
have a
It's
Susie
wagon?
B.
It's very artsy.
And man,
Does this girl on this can have a wagon?
Yeah, I
Can
think
you
Mike
tell?
wants to take it home and do a little rubbing action.
Oh, whoa.
hey, whoa.
Say that for later,
So-
buddy.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Southern Prohibition, Susie B Blonde Ale. Go try it; it's pretty good. What Sean busting out all these shiners, I have to say, I don't know if any of y'all have tried a Shiner Bock that you didn't like, or a Shiner beer that you haven't liked. So I'm sorry, Shiner Bock is their main one, but I don't think I've tried a Shiner beer that I did not like. So I don't know if anybody has tried one that they didn't like.
My opinion has changed since this variety pack because I remember not liking the Ruby Redbird, but I've been enjoying it in this variety pack. So
It might be time for a road trip to Spitzel, Texas, or Spotzel. whatever.
Shiner, Texas.
Podcast. Shiner.
What the fuck is the Spitzel?
The wagons
It's a Spitzel
invade
brewery.
Texas.
Okay, Spitzel.
Shiner,
Brewery.
Texas.
The wagons.
Oh.
We hitch the wagon up. We're going to Houston for a brewery trip.
Well,
Spitzel
it's Shiner,
Brewery.
Texas.
Ow!
The Spitzel.
By the way,
Brewery.
since we're talking Houston, Texas, I know Patrick frequents there pretty much and knows a lot of local spots.
Maui Pineapple.
My koozie for today, since we mentioned Todd's, is actually a St. Arnold's Fancy Lawnmower koozie. That's actually probably one of my top 5 favorite beers.
Solid brewery too. Real solid.
Hale State.
Hales? No.
So today
Well,
today was another sad day in history.
well, it's also sad because I didn't get to talk about my beer, but that's okay.
Go ahead, Pat. Say your beer. Mike cut
Go
you
ahead.
off.
Go ahead.
That's all good.
I rudely interrupted.
I'm not drinking anything as fancy as you guys. I'm just drinking a classic Modelo,
Which
not
is,
the Oro.
Especial.
Miss Modelo Especial.
And that is Patrick's softball, kickball, go-to.
And-
It is my
crawfish eating beer.
yes. It's my crawfish eating beer. It's my recreational kickball, softball, shotgun beer of choice, and now it's also my beer on the beach choice.
Just don't buy it from CVS Pharmacy.
Isn't that right, Mike?
Unless they're going to sponsor us, then we'll take all the
Aside
CVS
from
beer.
the price gouging, you get the laundry list.
Don't buy any alcohol from a convenience store because it's not very convenient.
It's more of an emergency situation than like, hey, that's where I go to shop and buy beer.
So like I was trying to say before and rudely interrupted with all this beer talk. No, just joking. I love beer. As I'm drinking a Topo Chico. But anyway, today is a very sad day in history. History news here. As Sean pointed out, it's been 9 years of Robin Williams' death, untimely death, and we want to talk about our favorite movies.
I mean, the movie
from Robin Williams.
the movie world really hasn't been the same.
No,
since
it
he passed
hasn't.
away.
It hasn't. So I just want to go and start.
I mean,
mine.
we could have had a Flubber 3 by now. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
my movie, my favorite Robin Williams movie that I like since I was a kid, has got to be Mrs. Doubtfire. It just brings back memories of just watching it, and it's it was a very good movie, very classic movie,
Very
and,
quotable.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
It just brings back.
It
a
was
lot
a
of
run by
memories.
fruiting.
You box them and you ship them.
When the face melts, it's in the costume. It's so great.
What did he mumble to himself? He's like, I just wanted to hurt the guy. I didn't want to kill him.
It was so good.
I'll go next. I mean, obviously, it's like I have a top 3, so it's really kind of hard for me to pick. Mrs. Doubtfire is definitely in there. Just as Patrick said, very very memorable quotes from that movie. Very funny movie. I also really love Dead Poet Society. I think that's where like a lot of like young actors at the time had gotten their start, like Ethan Hawke, Robert Sean Leonard. It was a very very powerful, emotional movie, showing the students' love for their teacher. But I think my overall favorite Robin
What
Williams
you gonna
movie,
go with?
and this might not be a personal favorite of everybody else's at this table. I know Sean likes it.
If it's crap, I'm walking away.
I don't know if you've ever even seen it,
Okay. Go ahead.
but I'm gonna go with Death to Smoochie. Very very.
That's too smoochy.
Oh, if you've never seen it, you got to see it. It's a cheesy comedy with Robin Williams and Edward Norton.
Is it a
Edward
dark
Norton plays
comedy?
almost
Like,
like
what do we
a.
call that kind of movie?
It gets pretty dark at times. Moochie gets the bites the bullet.
All right,
No video, but this is very girthy pizza sausage, I just have to say.
let's be honest. All the sausage at this table is pretty
I
good,
bet
my
Moochie
guy.
had a pretty nice girthy piece of sausage too. But it's almost like kind of like making fun of Barney, where Edward Norton plays a Barney character
yeah.
called Smoochie,
A kid's character,
and he
yeah.
takes Robin Williams' Rainbow Randolph's time slot on TV. So he's kind of got a jealous vendetta against Smoochie. Very, very funny movie. And Mike, you haven't seen it, you should definitely
No,
check
I
it out.
haven't. I heard of it before, but I have not seen it.
Since we were talking about memorable quotes, I think the most memorable scene from that movie was when they have a cookie shaped like a penis, and then
It's a rocket ship.
Edward Norton's trying to play off the cookie as a rocket ship, and Robin Williams interrupts the show and says, "No, it's not a rocket ship. It's a cock. It's a dick.
It's a stiffy.
It's a big stiffy. A cock and balls.
So
Definitely.
if you're listening and you haven't seen it, very, very underrated Robin Williams movie. Very funny.
And we don't have to worry about getting demonetized here because we're making no money yet. So we can pretty much say whatever we
This
want.
is costing us money more than, and we're not making money.
So,
If our
hey,
sponsors want to walk, oh wait, we
a
don't have sponsors.
reminder is a great plug here. Please like,
Comment, subscribe,
comment, and subscribe.
tell your friends, tell your
We're
grandmothers.
on Twitter. We recently have a Twitter account. Please follow us.
What is our Twitter account? Do we even know?
It's Wasted Wagon.
Hold on.
That sounds right. Very original.
Singular wagon.
Unless you're that one person
It's
who
the
gets
Wasted
pod.
Wagons podcast at Wasted WAST, WAST 21781.
If you
We're definitely
if you
going to remember
see-
all that.
If you see the blue check, then that's not the right one.
Yeah, we're not paying $8 to get
Sure,
verified.
yeah,
We don't,
blue check.
we don't have time for that.
Verified
That's,
yet. Yeah.
getting verified is not in the budget.
So please, like, subscribe, whatnot.
Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your
No, don't tell your grandma.
and,
She might not like
yeah,
it.
them damn blue hairs.
Again, unless you're that one person who's responsible for the name of our podcast.
How'd
And
you
if
feel?
you're the person that leaves their cart in the middle of the aisle, don't subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah, please don't.
You goddamn Baytown blue hairs.
How'd your
Hey,
kids?
Tom,
How'd your wife?
Hide everything. Dude, while y'all are talking, y'all, off mic, Travis just had a sneeze.
Bring
That
an
produced
extra
about-
paper towel.
A pound of mucus coming out of his nose.
Not rockets.
I think a sausage came out of his nose too.
It immediately threw me off. I'm like, whoa, buddy, you need to go inside.
That may have been a pineapple.
That's all that blue hairspray that's getting to his fucking nasal cavity.
That's great. Dude, but while I'm scrolling through thinking about movies and like all his movies, dude, Robin Williams has bangers everywhere. And kind of like you were talking about, like Mrs. Doubtfire, I feel like young people are going to lose. They're not going to remember that movie or even know it. Like, it's such a good movie. Like, it's one of those movies that, like,
You goddamn millennials.
you
1993.
every kid or person should see it because it's so good.
Oh, it's amazing.
But like, if you don't at some point watch it with your kid or a cousin or whatever, they might not know. They're not going to know about it, and they'd be missing out on a great movie. I'll jump ahead and just go like my favorite probably is Good Morning Vietnam. It's a classic. 80s?
I think
Was it
it
96?
might have been 70s.
No, it can't be that old.
Might be like,
It was in the 80s, I think.
was it like 83 or something? If I had to
I
guess.
can, let me IMDb it. That's my, that's
Yeah,
my
because
jam.
well, I mean, he had Patch Adams in '98. He was in Good Will Hunting in '97. Just what a year. We talked about him being in Aladdin.
Mork and Mindy, man, that was
Great TV show.
an awesome TV show.
1987.
'87.
87.
I mean,
really?
you got the
Damn.
Nanu.
Yeah, no.
Nanu.
Good
Well,
time.
I think I'm going to jump in there because you basically said, our kids might miss out on it. I'm going to also piggyback on Mike here. Say my favorite is also Mrs. Doubtfire, and I think a lot of it has to do with my kids have actually ordered it off of Netflix or one of the streaming services, and they've been watching it religiously to where it almost reinstilled it in me to want to keep watching it as well. Probably definitely my favorite. I mean, it's again classic line, super funny. I remember it being a movie I saw in the movie theaters when I was younger. It was a great movie, overall classic. How about you, Sean?
It hasn't been mentioned yet, so I'm gonna have to go. There you are, Peter.
Oh,
And Bangarang. Hook. Of course.
Rufio.
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 Classic Peter Pan movie. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Rufio died. Also, rest in peace.
that's sad. But
Not the actor. I'm just talking about the
Yeah,
character.
yeah, I got
The
you.
more I see Hook over the years, the more I appreciate it. Getting older and the scenes like where they all think he's gonna pull out a gun and he pulls out a checkbook and starts writing a check, and then the guy shoots a hole through the checkbook.
Who else was in Hook? Like I know there's a big
Dustin
name.
Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman. Okay.
And,
Like I know there's a big
Smee.
name I'm forgetting, and I couldn't remember who else was in it.
Smee was the late great Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah.
Mm.
Speaking of Smee, I don't know if y'all, I still haven't watched it yet, but they did the kind of revamp of Peter Pan, and Jim Gaffigan played Smee.
I love Jim Gaffigan, but that movie's
No, bro, no.
not really worth the watch.
Who played Peter Pan?
Some kid I've never heard of. If you want me to IMDb that, I can.
I don't remember. I didn't see that either. But like, I'm just looking through his IMDb right now. Like, Flubber, Deadpool Society, Portrait of a White Marriage. I don't know about that. What is that?
Now, some that I thought weren't really good. Obviously, like Man of the Year, I thought that was almost unwatchable.
Well, we talked a little bit about the horror movie that he was in, or the
1 hour photo.
Thriller. 1 hour photo.
Thriller, yeah, whatever they call those. 1 hour photo.
Cadillac Man. I kind of remember that. I remember the name of the movie. I don't remember what it's about though.
I don't remember that
Yeah, I
one.
don't know. Was that 90s?
Yeah, that was actually 1990.
There's one that I've never watched that I heard was good. It's called Toys. Anybody seen that one?
I haven't seen
No.
that.
I also have to mention Tearjerker, What Dreams May Come. That was.
Saw it once, don't remember, but I think I remember it, like getting a lot of like good reviews.
I
or
haven't
whatever.
seen it in many years, but I just remember it's a tearjerker and it's hard to hold back. It's something about like he finds out he's dead or something and has to like find his wife in the afterlife or something.
So almost like a Sixth Sense kind of.
I like the night out at the museum.
Oh yeah,
Solid.
how did I forget about that?
Yeah,
We played Teddy
Teddy
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Teddy Swoosevelt.
Swoosevelt.
Yeah.
I actually wore that shirt to the gym this morning. Absolutely, Teddy Swoosevelt.
Another movie that none of us, I guess, put as our favorite, Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
Good movie. Maybe not the best movie, but it was a good
I don't
movie.
think I've ever seen that.
I thought you were going to mention the other movie that starts with B.
But like, what about Good Will Hunting? I mean,
Oh, yeah. I don't remember his character that much in Good Will Hunting.
I don't know if I've ever seen it because I couldn't get past the fact that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Matt
But
Damon.
a banger, an absolute banger with Ben Affleck is Town. I think we can all agree that.
Fine.
I
What
love
the
that.
what?
That's
We-
fine.
That's
I
fine.
think
It's
this
good
is
movie.
I think this is a separate podcast though. If we're going to talk about Ben Affleck movies,
No, we won't.
Boiler Room.
We're absolutely not. But okay.
But
We'll move on. We'll
no,
move past
hold
that,
on,
but-
hold on. Shout out to Ben Affleck in Boiler Room. Boiler Room is
He was
great.
fantastic in Boiler Room. He was fantastic in the Town. So
But I think
Hey,
what really
Affleck
made
was the bomb in Phantom.
never saw that.
If anyone out there gets that reference,
That
but
was from what?
Jay
Jay
and
and
Silent
Silent
Bob
Bob,
but
Strike
if,
Back.
but if we're being honest here, who really made Boiler Room? The most underrated actor on the planet,
Giovanni Ribisi.
Ribisi.
Giovanni Ribisi. Shout out to Giovanni. Woo, woo, woo.
What?
Not Tom Schneider from the B-52s,
All I keep thinking about is that Blue Diamond.
who was eating
All I
the
keep
tube
thinking
steak
about is that
smothered
Blue
in underwear.
Diamond.
I forgot that he was even in that. Jesus.
We didn't even mention Patch Adams. Another great movie by him. What are we doing? He had great movies everywhere.
And since we're
Insomnia.
I know we're
Insomnia.
Oh Jesus!
Trying, I know we're going to try and move on from Robin Williams, but obviously Travis and I are mental health professionals, and it's just mental health is obviously a real struggle amongst many people in today's society. So God bless Robin Williams.
And I can say, I think his only daughter is named Zelda, and they had a really close bond and everything. And when you see old pictures, it's like really heartbreaking of how close he was to his daughter.
So if y'all are struggling with mental health, definitely go see a counselor. We know some good ones out there.
I changed my pick. It's the Birdcage. What are we doing?
Can I change my pick real quick too?
Sure.
Jumanji.
Ooh.
I mean,
Yeah.
how can I forget that?
How could we forget that?
And we're
Just
not
pick
talking
Jumanji.
about the crappy remake with The Rock and Jack Black.
No,
I'm not talking about the
The
crappy
the
board game
original.
The
itself.
classic.
That classic from 1995.
The classic. But anyway, so we have a card show coming up that we're gonna go to tomorrow. It's
How-
a local card show?
How long has it been since anybody has really collected baseball cards or sports cards in general at the state?
Now it's our kids doing it.
Right, they have reinvigorated the desire to collect sports cards.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a pretty decent sized one tomorrow. It's at the Pontchartrain Convention Center. I think it's 10 to.
I think it's like
6.
10 to 7 or 10 to 8, maybe
10 to
10 to
7.
6, something like that.
Anybody listening, invited to go.
I think there's a $10 entry fee, but I haven't been to a card show in years. I know you used to be able to you used to have some quarter boxes and stuff like that. I'm sure those might not exist anymore, but I'm excited. So, I know Todd, Mike, and I are going. Patrick was talking about the idea of going. I don't know if Sean's interested in going or not, but
We'll try to put some stuff on Twitter.
no, I'll open up a conversation here based on that.
I
Is
post some pictures of my haul.
so if we're all going tomorrow, is there any cards in particular or players that you're looking for?
I have an affinity for like 80s, 90s baseball players. I mean, we all grew up watching, whether you liked them or not. You had WGN, and so you had
TBS.
TBS. So you had
Yeah.
the Braves, the White Sox, and the Cubs. I took more of a liking to the Braves and like the Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox era, and like the Ron Gant, Terry Pendleton years, David Justice. So if I'm gonna go collect a card, it's probably
Well, John Rocker.
something from that era. No, I'm not a fan of
John
John
Rocker.
Rocker or collecting his cards. Thank you very much, Todd.
Rocker.
But no, I'd pick up a couple old school cards just for nostalgia. If I could find maybe like an Ozzie Smith that doesn't break the bank, that'd be cool. Or some other
Right, you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan, so
Yeah.
even though we just mentioned the Cubs coming on TV as kids,
Yeah, fuck all
WGN, Patrick is a Cardinals fan, so maybe he grew up watching the Cubs play against the Cardinals.
Patrick grew up watching, the likes of like Stan Musial and
wow, I'm not that old, but okay.
Sandy Koufax.
Yeah. I like old nostalgia cards. Of any team or era like that. More 80s, 90s. So if they had something, I'd pick up a couple. I like Randy Johnson, so if they had a Randy Johnson
Yeah,
D-backs card,
The big unit.
I'm in for that.
All right, so I don't mean to cut you off here, but you mentioned the Braves from the '90s. So my wife's sister actually lives in Atlanta. We go there
Okay,
maybe
so-
once a year. My sister sometimes, my wife sometimes goes there more than once a year. But
Chipper Jones.
Yeah, Oakland Saints.
I went to Atlanta last year and was looking for a Travis DeArno T-shirt. Sorry, cut that. So, since Patrick brought up the topic of those '90s Braves, my sister-in-law actually lives in Atlanta, so we go visit her once, twice a year. We actually caught a Braves game. During Hurricane Ida, and I actually went to the Braves store to look for a Tom Glavine T-shirt, and they did not have it. This was last year after Hurricane, or 2 years ago after Hurricane Ida, and I was tempted at that time to buy a Travis DeArno, who was the main catcher at the time in the Braves, but I ended up deciding to pass on that. We actually went back this summer to the Braves Stadium, caught another Braves game this summer, and I went with the intention of buying a Travis DeArno T-shirt, and they didn't have it. But guess what they did have this time? A Tom Glavine T-shirt. So I definitely didn't pass this time. I bought myself a Tom Glavine T-shirt from Brave Stadium this summer, so definitely a nice find. But if we're getting back on the topic of cards here, a couple of players I'm looking for. How can you go wrong with Joey Votto? I know Patrick is probably not a Joey Votto fan from being a St. Louis Cardinals fan, but
You're wrong.
Okay.
I like Votto. He's good.
Okay.
He's a good dude. He's funny.
I'm sure a lot of Cincinnati Reds fans disagree with that contract he's on. But
Well, that's a different story. But no, he's
the guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. We actually went to Milwaukee this year. The Brewers played the Reds, and I wore an old school Barry Larkin jersey to the game, and Joey Votto hit a home run, and look, that was the Brewers won the game, but that was a highlight of the game for me, was watching Joey Votto hit a home
and
run.
your son Carson was actually wearing a Joey Votto
Carson
jersey.
is also a Joey Votto fan. He had the jersey on, so.
And a Brewers fan was actually ripping Joey Votto, talking about how he was playing when the dinosaurs were alive, and he ended up hitting a home run. So it's pretty satisfying.
Just an ignorant fan, but that was the highlight of the game for me when he hit a home run. So I'll definitely be looking for some Joey Vottos. If we're talking about Guardians of my team, so if I'm looking at current players, I'm looking at Andreas Jimenez, their second baseman. I love me some Andreas. If we're shifting over the football, I'm an Ohio State guy, so also a New Orleans Saints fan. So got to be looking for some Chris Olave, maybe some Joey Bosa. And look, I may be in a minority here at this table because I'm a Saints fan, and he's kind of now at the most recent years of his career touring around the Saints division. But I'm still a Baker Mayfield fan, so I'm going to be looking for some Baker cards as well.
How good is Olave going to be this year with like a good quarterback?
What about some good old Michael Thomas?
So here's what I've been saying about the Saints. My take on the Saints. I think the Saints. The key to the Saints' victories this year are going to be, can the offensive line stay healthy? Ramczyk was banged up a lot. McCoy was banged up a lot. I think those are probably our two best offensive linemen. If they can protect Derek Carr, I think that's a huge key. But the biggest thing to me is Michael Thomas going to get on the field. And I
guard Mike.
I fully do not expect Michael Thomas to ever go back to Michael Thomas of old.
Yeah,
But him stepping on the field will take double coverage away from Chris Olave and allow Chris Olave to be the type of guy he can be. So I've got, look, if Michael Thomas can stay healthy, Chris Olave can be one of the best receivers in the league. And maybe I'm biased as a Saints fan and an Ohio State fan, but Chris Olave all the way. But he's definitely going to be one of the cards I'm looking for.
I still think the Saints need a solid number 3 receiver. The two guys who picked up Edwards and Shaheed's injured. Picked up Edwards, and who else did we pick up? Some other guy from the Steelers, right?
James Washington.
Yeah, James Washington. I'm not really sold on either one of those guys.
Look, I'm actually, if Shaheed can come back healthy, I'm kind of sold on him. I think he can be a good number 3.
I think he's a playmaker. Sure.
He's fast as hell. That's I think that's a big seller. But the key is getting Michael Thomas on the field. I think if Michael Thomas gets on the field, the number 3 guy doesn't have to be that great if you have guys like Thomas and Olave on the field.
It's just sad to think in a 17-game season, if he plays like 12 or 13, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because he's played, 10 total in 3 seasons, maybe?
If Michael Thomas gets on the field for 12 or 13 games, Olave goes to the Pro Bowl. Book it.
Yeah, I could see that. I think he's going to have a great year.
Can't guard Mike because he's sitting on the bench.
He's got turf toe.
Look, Michael Thomas fooled me last year. He fooled Todd and I. We're on a team together in our Big Money Fantasy League, and we drafted Michael Thomas and went to 6th round last year. Those first 2 weeks of the season, he looked like Michael Thomas of old, and then here comes the toe injury that keeps him out the rest of the year. So, key to the Saints' victory: healthy offensive line. Michael Thomas just getting on the field.
He had 2 touchdowns in that first week. That week 1 against the Falcons, he had 2 touchdowns.
He had another one before he
I
got
think
hurt in
he
game
had 4
2.
total in 3 games.
Yeah.
He's posting all these weight room videos. He's better be ready.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to, sell us on the fact that he and Derek Carr are tight. So let's see if all this is true. But around
Speaking
the
of the cars, are you going to get a Tim Anderson
table.
card?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. As a Guardians fan, I was pretty ecstatic to see, Tim Anderson throw the first punch against Jose Ramirez, and Jose ducked it pretty nicely and ended up catching Timmy in the jaw. And man, I don't think I've ever seen a baseball player get knocked out like that. I mean, we go back to Jose Bautista getting hit pretty hard, but I don't think Jose got knocked out. Yeah, Roughneck Odor hit Jose Bautista pretty hard, and I don't think he collapsed like Tim Anderson did.
You don't see baseball players get knocked out like that because they don't fight.
Mhm.
It's every time there's a bench clearing brawl, quote unquote. It's everybody runs to the middle of the guy. It's like, oh man, we're gonna talk. Let's politely talk about. Hey, so I'm sorry you hit him with that. Like no one fights. I'm not advocating for the fighting.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, it makes baseball a lot more interesting.
Well,
that's neither here nor there. But the point is, every time we see one of these on Sports Center, it's a bench clearing brawl, and there's literally not a punch thrown.
Right.
Just a couple of dudes hold me back, hold him back, and then the umpires get in, the managers come in, and then they separate and they go back to their way.
Nolan Ryan did get 9 hits on the White Sox though when back in his day. They were all on Robin Ventura.
That's true. But that was a different time of sports when that was the thing.
Nolan Ryan, though, dude's tough as nails.
Nolan Ryan didn't take shit.
Todd, who are you looking for at the card show?
As an Orioles fan, if I'm looking at for current players, obviously Adley Rutschman.
Badly.
I'm still a very, very big Trey Mancini fan, and fuck the Cubs for DFAing him. But
I was hoping the Guardians were going to pick him up instead of Cole Calhoun or Ramon Laureano.
Cole Calhoun.
Now, Cole Calhoun has actually put together a pretty good batting average since he's been on the Guardians, so I can't really knock him too much.
But I'll definitely be looking for some Mancinis as well. Some older players, obviously, Cal Ripken Jr. is my hero. So I'll be looking for some Ripkins, maybe some Mark Graces. He was a personal favorite of mine. Sean mentioned, who mentioned? Oh, it was Patrick that mentioned the potential Randy Johnson Diamondbacks. I actually was thinking about getting a Mark Grace Diamondbacks jersey.
Solid.
I was always a fan of that, the kind of the red and gold logo with the D.
He won a World Series with the Diamondbacks, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Who did he start with? He wasn't on the Diamondbacks.
That was the Cubs. He started with the Cubs.
Okay.
I don't want to rag on you, but you know what else you need to look for at the this show tomorrow? A new Orioles flag, buddy. That thing is tattered.
I was waiting until the end of the season. I don't know. Trust me, Patrick. I thought about that.
I will start a GoFundMe to get you a new flag because when I pulled out, I'm like, Jesus, this thing is like Old Glory from like the 70s.
I thought it had one more good year left in it, and it's going to last till the end of this season. And after the season, I will buy.
Okay, so you're going to retire after the season.
I'll pick a different logo and everything. You know.
You can pick the same damn flag. Just get one that is new.
And have one more season, Patrick.
I'm just saying. Hey. I love that you fly proudly. It's great.
It's been flying proudly for like the past, I don't know, 7 seasons.
It looks like it's been through a couple hurricanes.
It's like a man's underwear. No, honey, they got another good 6 months on them, and it's like hanging on by one more
got
thread.
Shit stains and holes in it, but hey, it's got one more year.
Mike, are you looking for anybody at this card show?
I know my kid is definitely going to want to buy a Mike Trout card. I would like to have like a Bo Jackson or Griffey. I think those are pretty cool.
Well,
Yasiel
Michael
Puig,
Jordan wasn't he your boy?
What's that?
What about Yasiel Puig? Wasn't he your boy?
Yeah, Puig was my boy.
Because he's Cuban.
He might be in the.
How about Dan Marino?
Box.
Dan Marino? Nah.
No, Dan
What,
Marino.
Ray Finkel?
No. absolutely not,
If there's
no.
10-cent boxes, you might be able to find
Um,
some Yossi Elf weeks.
I think maybe some baseball, not baseball, basketball cards. I think
Okay.
would be pretty
Oh,
cool
yeah.
to go into.
Okay.
I
I don't know
know
about that.
we've been watching some Pelicans games and maybe C.J. McCollum or
I like CJ a
Yeah.
lot. Like,
Yeah.
if I don't follow a lot of athletes on Twitter or on social media and whatnot,
Trey
but like
Murphy. And,
CJ McCollum on Instagram is an awesome follow.
Yeah.
He's very, very, very. My man is very dapper. Wears some really, really nice, albeit a little interesting and maybe not outside of the norm of like his suits or whatever. But he's got a style. Let's say that. I like it. I like it. I like him.
Dapper, I think, is the perfect term for him.
With a dapper with a touch of personality and flair.
And he's super smart too.
He is.
He is very, very smart.
And he's a good ball player. I like him.
I'll take 90s basketball over nowadays basketball any day.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think anybody at this table is arguing that.
It's, back in the day when we were kids, man, it was a different ball game, literally.
90s of any sport.
I think nowadays you watch basketball and everybody's whining every time they get hurt and it's all theatrical.
Oh, they can call technicals now for flopping.
and it's ridiculous.
Back
But,
in the day when you flop is because you got hit.
Yeah,
Knocked on the
Back in
ground.
day when
Unless
I
you're with
was
Lottie
young
Bebops.
and
Yeah.
There's a lot of
It's funny you brought
a
up
lot
like
of babies in the league.
talking about like basketball, like old school basketball. My nephew posted on Instagram today, like his favorite team is the early 2000s era Suns
Okay.
with Stoudemire. And I was like, man, I thought about him, like he really did love that team. Like all the posters and stuff he had and the player cards. If I could find a Stoudemire NBA card from that time frame, I'm definitely gonna buy one for him because he'd be over the moon about that. That was a great team, great unis too.
Shout out to the other first round pick the year of Amari Stoudemire. It was none other than Casey Jacobson.
Who?
Casey Jacobson from Stanford, the man with the highlights, man. He actually played for the New Orleans Hornets for 1 year. Great follow on Twitter. He actually replies to tweets. So if you're
And
looking
he's a commentator now, isn't he?
commentator,
Who's that? Defensive,
Casey Jacobson.
Casey Jacobson.
defensive, and
Oh, look him up.
defensive wizard, 3-point assassin. Not much else.
3-and-D guy?
Does he reply to tweets because he has a lot of time on his hands?
Because he's not doing anything. He's just Casey Jacobson.
And I will, I'm secure enough in my man to say he's a pretty handsome individual. So, we go check him out. 3-point
Pretty sure
assassin, Stanford
everybody-
Cardinal.
I'm pretty sure everybody here at this table would agree with me.
What
The,
I'm saying here.
The whole LeBron James, Michael Jordan debate,
Oh, goat issue.
the whole GOAT issue. And,
Not even close.
it's not. It's not even,
Oh, Patrick's
I-
got something to say.
I agree. I don't know your stance, but I have an idea on your stance, and I probably agree with your stance. There are very few topics that I won't get into discussions, debates, arguments with, and it's that one. Not because I'm gonna take Jordan every day because like I grew up watching him, like, and
Yeah.
I can respect LeBron, and it has nothing to do with him. I think that debate is not dumb. I just don't like having it. I feel like it serves me no purpose.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As a kid, like I didn't even like Jordan because I kind of wanted to watch him lose because he won so much. Kind of like Tom Brady nowadays. It's like you want to. Like a barbecue
That's-
sauce on my knee.
that's fucking God saying.
But look,
Smite you.
it's not that I don't like the guy now. It's just you wanted to see him lose because he won so much.
But look,
you know?
I mean,
That's fair.
but really, you're going to argue with Todd here because, like, you said you have
I mean-
a nephew that is a fan of the early 2000 Suns.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite team ever was the 90s Suns with Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson.
Great team.
So, yes, when
Marley.
the Bull, Dan Marley, Thunder Dan.
Danny
When-
Ainge. What y'all
Danny
forgetting about?
Ainge, oh Jesus.
When I
Architect.
would watch those Suns play Michael Jordan and the Bulls,
Yeah,
I was
the
hoping
Suns.
I was hoping Jordan would lose.
But I want you to all think about this team. Like, when the Bulls played the Sonics in the finals, like, who didn't want Sean Kemp to win a championship? You
I
know what I mean?
agree. I think for me, it's just I've watched and listened to enough people debate who's the GOAT, and like football, you could have a debate about the GOAT in football, but like you kind of understand, like, hey, Brady's got 7.
Yep.
He's all for the class by himself. You don't really need to have that debate. Now, maybe if Mahomes gets 2, 3 more, maybe let's say Burrow starts stacking up a couple or whatever. Maybe that conversation becomes a bit more relevant to have. But like,
Go Tigers.
I don't think I care about who's the GOAT of basketball to want to debate it. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't care. You could bring a good case to either one because of all that LeBron has like accomplished in his like stats and stuff like that. And from the Jordan side, you could just be like 6 rings, never lost in a finals, and like you can make great arguments for both sides. I think
6
care.
MVPs.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't
6 MVPs.
care about that debate anymore. That it's a thing, and people always want to do it. And like every time somebody asks me, I'm like, yeah, I don't
LeBron's
care.
the greatest of this era. That's about it.
Like I can think it's Jordan,
but there's no denying that LeBron's the greatest of his era
Right now, yeah.
But it's not like the greatest of his era. It's like greatest of all time.
Yeah, no.
Greatest of his era is, there is no debate. It's him. But when it's the all-time conversation, I really
is Jordan, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
It's like 11 rings. I mean, whatever.
Right, and there's that like, oh well, Jordan has 6. Oh, Russell has 11. Should he be the best if we're going to judge by rings? It's just so many ways you could spin that argument to favor your point of view, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And if you're into debate, like that's cool. That's your thing. I'm just over it. I don't want to do it.
I mean, you could argue the GOAT for football could be like Jim Brown. I mean, the dude led the league in rushing 8 out of his 9 years in the league.
Yeah.
You know, he was like unstoppable, unheard of at the time. You know, we're talking the 50s.
Would Barry Sanders, let's say pre Brady, would Barry Sanders be in the conversation for
That's what I'm
time?
saying. Yeah,
Barry Sanders was,
and the fact that he left
phenom.
on top is because Detroit was so bad and he was getting so broken because of how bad they were.
Yeah.
Could we argue that Tim Tebow was the best college athlete of all time? I mean,
no, you can't argue that because he was.
There you go. We got some Tebow guys.
I think we could say that, right?
I mean, it wasn't Johnny Manziel.
Tim Tebow could be Taysom Hill before Taysom Hill.
True.
I agree with that.
Sean brought up. Have y'all watched the Menzel
I'm about
documentary
halfway through. I don't know how this dude got away with what he was getting away with. Jesus Christ, dude! Like, his friend, he had his friend fucking selling like merchandise that he was signing, and like that's like completely illegal.
I haven't watched it yet.
He got away with it,
but there seems like there's a lot of fabricated stories that they made up to make him feel bad. Like I think they're talking like he's not actually from oil money rich. Like he might be rich and his family might be rich, but he's not. They weren't like oil tycoons, or I think that was the story from back in the day.
Like his grandfather was like some kind of oil man, but it's like I'm just wondering how like they didn't see through the bullshit and the lies, because I mean it's like he was only suspended for half a game for it, and it's like this dude was selling like, I mean he probably made millions of dollars off of like selling signed shit.
It's almost, I mean, it sounds very similar to what Jim Tressel got fired for. You know, Jim Tressel got fired for covering up Terrell Pryor, you know, trading in signed merchandise for tattoos.
Yeah.
And Jim Tressel knew about it, covered it up, got fired, you know, when it came to public.
So I think we're going to do a shot here.
Yeah, this is normally the time we would stop and pause and take a minute to thank our sponsors for the podcast, but we don't have sponsors, so we're just going to
If you are interested in being a sponsor for the show, please hit us up on Twitter.
So, speaking of sponsors, what are we drinking right now? Maybe they would be interested. Patrick?
We are going to drink a Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea Castro. 124 proof.
Oh.
Not something you normally want to take a shot of, but
now you tell me.
But here we are. I told you.
As I'm about to swig a mason jar.
I told you don't pour. I told you don't pour too heavy. It's kind of hot.
All right. Well, let's do the shot for Robin Williams.
Is this going to burn a hole in my esophagus?
It might be a
great actor.
Yep. We spent the earlier part of the episode discussing Robin Williams.
Let's take one for him and
son of a bitch.
for mental health awareness.
Mental health awareness. To Robin Williams, to mental health awareness.
There you go. Cheers.
To Tim Anderson.
Cheers, fellas.
Punched out.
Yes, sir. Go Guards.
This is gonna hurt.
Woo.
Oh yeah, it's a 124. Oh god,
Stings the nostrils.
Wrigley pear.
All right, so we.
By the way, real quick, I didn't throw out my baseball cards.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But no,
Jesus Christ, Pat, that made me gag.
while we're all gagging on this shot, I'm just gonna go.
Got some sausage.
If I went to this card show, just because I had to throw this curveball in there, I'd look for one of these bad boys, a Randy Poffo card from the Cincinnati Reds.
I'm sorry. Who?
That would be the one and only Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I have not ever seen that photo or that card.
He played from 1971 to 1974 for the Cardinals, the Redbirds, the Orangeburg, and Tampa, according to the back of his card.
A lot of y'all might not know that Macho Man Randy Savage was actually a professional baseball player, and Sean is going to be looking for his card at the card show this weekend.
What do you think that card goes for online?
I'd imagine a pretty penny.
Randy Poffo. Poffo.
The cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
I was today years old when I learned that Macho Man.
That card is
played
downright
baseball.
savage. I had to say it.
Todd, how did you find out that Macho Man played professional baseball?
I actually saw a shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com. So if you're a wrestling fan and you want to buy any of your favorite wrestlers' merchandise, except if they're currently with WWE, Pro Wrestling Tees is the place to buy it. Really cool shirt on their site, kind of splitting up, showing that Randy Savage was a professional baseball player for the Reds and a professional wrestler. Definitely a cool shirt. Go buy it. Go check out ProWrestlingTees.com for all your favorite wrestlers, whether it be on AEW or Impact,
Young looking chap there.
or even back in the day.
Yeah,
That is way before all the tanning beds. It is leather skin like Hulk Hogan.
if any of you listeners are wrestling fans, any of your favorite wrestlers who are no longer affiliated with WWE, they've got a lot of merchandise on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Yep.
Got some really cool T-shirt designs, a lot of cool action figures. Go check it out.
Holy shit, y'all! On eBay, 1972 Randy Macho Man Savage Poffo Gulf Coast Cardinals MILB card, $22. Go Google this and look at the hair and stash on this dude. Sean, that card photo you had is a... All right, so getting back to the Jake Paul thing, Todd, you had some interesting thoughts and opinions on him or the fight or this whole matter. What's grinding your gears about Jake Paul?
fuck Jake Paul.
Okay, look. First off, let me explain to you how I found out about Jake Paul. I never even heard of the dude. I do private practice. One of my clients, who was at that time was probably maybe 10, 11 years old, was obsessed with the guy. He watched his YouTube videos. He was like, "Oh man, he's the greatest thing ever. He's so funny. Like, how have you never heard of him?" All this kind of shit. So I never paid any mind to it. I certainly wasn't going to go watch his videos after what one of my clients said. But then all of a sudden, he started getting all this like hype as far as like being a fighter. So I was like, okay, let me go check out who this Jake Paul guy is. But all I kind of discovered is that he's doing this shit is like kind of like a money grab. He's making all this money because people want to see him lose, right? They're like, oh, it's this arrogant little prick who we're gonna go pay money to watch him get knocked out.
He's the villain.
He's the villain.
Like the villain.
And normally I like villains.
Persona.
And look, I'm not going to take anything away from Jake Paul as far as like becoming a fighter and training to be a fighter. Because I watched his documentary. My son was the one who originally wanted to watch it. I had absolutely no plans to watch this documentary because I'm not a Jake Paul fan. But my son, who loves YouTube, obviously loves Jake Paul. So I'm sitting there watching it with him, and my son is literally trying to convince me, like, look, Dad, see, he does this. He's not a bad guy. He does this. He's not a bad guy. You like him a little bit, right, Dad? And it's like, it's hard for me to like the guy because I'm sitting here watching all the shit that this dude did in the past, and it's clear that he was an arrogant, fucking, phony-ass prick, So I'm not going to sit there and deny the fact that Jake Paul has done a lot as far as, like, getting himself in really good shape, preparing to be a really good boxer. And I have no doubt in my mind this dude's got a shit ton of power, and he's knocking these fucking guys out. I watched that fight. I mean, he knocked Tyron Woodley the fuck out. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
I mean, it was like hard-ass shot. This dude was down for the count. I just don't like the fact that this guy is. I found him to be very, very arrogant. I think he's very, very arrogant, very conceited. I think he's all about himself.
I think it's a persona. I think it's all about money.
Oh, I mean, I have no doubt in my mind.
He wants
no doubt in my mind. It's all about
so
money.
the agenda there is that he wants to be the villain because he makes more money when people hate him. He in the documentary. He was the liked guy, right? He did the Disney thing, and he was very well liked with YouTube. And then he got demonetized because he started being the bad guy.
But see, I think he even got a little bit into depression because he was the bad guy, if I'm not mistaken, from the documentary. So it's like,
how smart is he though to take that all that negativity and make it into a positive?
Oh, he's smart, but that kind of
super smart guy.
That kind of makes me like him even less.
And I think that's just a persona right now. But hey. I could be wrong.
Look, for a person in the mental health profession who doesn't make as much money as that, obviously, but I kind of agree with Todd here. Like I look at the people he's fighting, and I look at the Ben Askren. Like if you look at the MMA career of Ben Askren, he's more known as a grappler, but he's fighting Ben Askren in a boxing match.
I don't know if y'all have seen that fight, but Ben Askren looked like he came into that fight with like absolutely no training. The dude looked like soft as shit. Like,
so that's where the money grab component comes in for me. Like, okay, well, you're fighting a grappler in a boxing match. Like, okay, you want to prove yourself as a boxer. Fight Mike Tyson. Fight Mike Tyson as a boxer.
Mayweather.
He fought Fury.
Fight Floyd Mayweather as a boxer.
He fought Tyson Fury.
Fight Oscar De La Hoya as a boxer.
I really don't think that this is anything about him wanting to be the best boxer ever.
Right, it's a money grab, which makes him more of a piece of shit, in my opinion.
He's he did fight.
If you don't want to fight real boxers in a boxing match, then you're a piece of shit.
But he did fight a real boxer. He fought for Tyson Fury's younger brother. Yeah.
Well, fight Tyson Fury.
He actually lost.
Oh, so you lost to Tyson Fury's younger brother. Fight Tyson Fury if you're a real boxer. Stop grabbing people's money.
I get it.
To me, that tells me you're a piece of shit.
Does anyone have Riddick Bowe's number?
No. Jesus, Riddick.
Fuck, fight Shannon Briggs. I don't know.
That's a name from the past.
Do y'all remember
Lennox Lewis?
How about Shannon? How about old Shannon Briggs?
How about Francois Botha?
Yeah. How about the guy that Tyson knocked out in 49 seconds? Peter
Neely.
Neely, yeah.
So
McNeely.
how did this guy get so much money from this boxing match that? I mean, this is like Floyd Mayweather money.
But it's easy to see. He was this YouTube personality who was obviously a dick. People wanted to see him lose. They paid the money to hopefully watch him lose. He doesn't lose. He wins. So then they pay money for the next fight to hopefully see
How
him
is this
lose.
any different than like that Zuckerberg and
it's
Elon Musk fight that they're
It's not much different, that's for sure.
So look, I was actually. I'm glad you brought that up. I think this actually came up on a radio show that I listened to in the morning called The Woody Show, and they were basically saying that shout out to The Woody Show, woo woo. But at the same point, they were basically saying Elon Musk is trying to find a way to chicken out of this. They're saying Zuckerberg is actually a real, really training the fight. He's training with real MMA fighters. He's in great shape. And Elon Musk is kind of pretending like he's training, but at the same time, he's making excuses to kind of keep delaying this fight. What do y'all think about that?
I saw some Asian dude that was like his doppelganger and says, "I'm ready to go in." It was like he looks just like Elon Musk, and he had gloves on and everything. He's like, in case he backs out, I'm ready to go. He's just some random Asian dude.
And look, I'm not an Elon Musk hater by any means, but I have seen pictures of Zuckerberg. It looks like he has been training. It looks like he is in shape. If you look at pictures of Elon Musk, he does not look like he's in shape. If you put those two in a ring together, I would think Zuckerberg would win.
But he smokes a lot of meat.
But if we have to base going back on Jesus Christ,
He does. You can look up Zucky's Barbecue on YouTube. Smoking some meat.
but if we're basing anything off of physical appearance, and we're going back to what we discussed earlier as far as the Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez fight, Tim Anderson is obviously the better athlete. I mean, and he got knocked out.
Who has the more punchable face, Zuck or Elon Musk?
Zuck definitely. I gotta say, I gotta go with Zuckerberg there.
No, I'm leaning more towards Elon.
Ooh, that's a good debate right there.
Which Paul brother has the most punchable face?
Definitely Jake.
Yeah, look, I think Todd brought up a good point earlier.
I hate Logan a little less than Jake.
Yeah, I mean, like they look very similar.
Less than Jake,
So
good man. I'm just saying.
they look very similar, so it's hard to really say. But I think just based
Fantasy
upon Logan taking his talents from YouTube to WWE, which kind of more correlates, it doesn't make him as hateable. Whereas Jake is going into boxing where he's going in. I don't know if he's really fighting people or not. I mean, this is kind of hard to say at this point. Todd said it looked like he really punched out Tyron Woodley. I have not seen that fight.
It was pretty solid knockout.
But at the same time, when you go from YouTube to
Woodley's pretty washed too.
yeah,
Most of the guys who fights are washed up. Like Anderson Silva's like 50 years old.
Jesus,
So.
yeah.
This kid is not even a real boxer, and what he's accomplished, I think, is
That's like I said.
what he's accomplished is, it's definitely.
I'll give credit. Dude's in phenomenal shape.
He is,
And he's obviously got a lot of power.
Look, I'll agree with Todd here. I'll say Jake has the more punchable face, but I'll go Zuckerberg. I mean, I brought a lot of seen that one seemed to bring more controversy. I don't know. I think Zuckerberg, the younger guy, the more in shape guy, the Facebook guy, I'd rather punch him in the face.
All right, real quick. This is kind of impromptu here. Your favorite boxer of all time?
Oh Jesus!
Sugar Ray. All right, Sugar Ray Leonard is my favorite boxer of all time. And look, I'm not a huge boxing fan by any means, but if you remember when they used to make those little handheld video games, Sugar Ray Leonard's boxing. And this thing was not just a little handheld thing that I had. I had a kind of a big handheld Sugar Ray Leonard's boxing. Sugar Ray's my guy.
All right, Todd.
Evander Holyfield, without question.
Okay.
What, by the way, I'm going to cut you off on that. Evander Holyfield didn't quite meet him a couple of years ago, but when his son played football for Georgia and they played in the Sugar Bowl, he was at Martin's Wine Cellar having some lunch with some friends. He's a pretty intimidating specimen, even at his older age. So, Evander Holyfield.
Pick or it didn't happen. Anyways, yeah, Evander Holyfield's my guy. I mean, I was a fan of him when I was a kid. Not that I was a huge boxing fan. I always wanted to see him beat Tyson. Kind of stuck with it.
Did him getting his ear bit off make him more of a fan?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm going to Evander Holyfield.
It made you hate Tyson a little bit more. Like
a lot more
Holyfield.
people know Holyfield because of that.
I didn't really hate Tyson after the thing.
Okay,
It was a dick thing. Don't get me wrong, but like I didn't hate him.
To get your ear bit off, I would say that's more than the dick thing.
Oh, fair. But like,
let's ask Travis
I didn't hate him more because he did it.
But let's ask Travis this question: how much did you love Mike Tyson in The Hangover?
Oh, best character in the
I
movie.
mean,
Best
come on,
character in the movie. I mean, when they play Phil Collins in the air tonight,
This is
Wait,
my
guys,
part.
course line's
This is
coming
my
up.
part.
I mean, that might be one of the best scenes in the movie.
So I like Mike Tyson. All right, but that's not my favorite. He's not my favorite. My favorite is George Foreman.
There you go.
Is that because of the George Foreman grills?
No. I like
What are you trying to say
I
about
liked
Mike?
him way before that.
Because of his 12 kids named George.
He was just like this overweight guy that used to knock the fuck out of people. And
He was like some dude that worked in a warehouse.
Yeah.
He showed up
Did
for
not
Fox.
look like he trained, but he had a lot of power in his punch.
He had power in his punch.
So you just pick Buster
And-
Douglas while you had it.
I'm just saying, man. George Foreman, like when I was a kid, that was just my absolute favorite.
Sean?
Hey, who that guy?
Do you have a favorite?
Favorite boxer?
Who that?
Favorite boxer of all time, and you can't say Rocky.
How the fuck did that come?
Why not?
I can't say Soda Popinski.
Oh, that's definitely my favorite.
Sean, you just ruined my joke to end this segment. I was
my-
going to take Soda Popinski or
That's
Glass
my fa-
Joe.
That's hands down my favorite Tyson punch out guy.
Soda
Yeah.
King
Popinski.
Hippo and Mr. Dream.
All right, so we can make that a separate conversation, but who's your favorite real boxer? We're going to go around the table and say our favorite punch-out character.
Oh,
I mean, shit.
So think about it.
I don't know. I mean, everyone y'all's mentioned has been ones that I've liked off and on, whatever. I've said Riddick Bowe, 5 times already, so go with Riddick Bowe.
All right, so we got
good shout. That's a
so
good
we got a
shout.
Sugar Ray.
On the Game Gear. Riddick Bowe boxing on the Game Gear.
So we've got Sugar Ray, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, and George Foreman. Patrick, who you got?
So like, it's weird about like my like or affinity for boxing. I liked old boxing and I watch it, but I wasn't really like into it. But for me, I think the persona that this dude brought, and the fact that he wore black trunks and it was just like evil, like menacing, like, and then he would talk and you laugh at his voice, but then the things he said were like, holy shit, like this dude sounds like he's the worst human being ever. It's Iron Mike.
Huh?
Yeah.
I just like the way he destroyed people in short time frames. He was intimidating. He looked like what you would design in like a cartoon character, but in real life, and he was just a badass.
So when we mentioned that we liked Mike, Mike Tyson in The Hangover. We liked him in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So,
Yeah, top 2, 3, 4, 5 game
He was
of
a
all
good ref in
time.
the WWF.
Yeah, he
What
had
was that?
a
That was,
wrestling stint
Shawn
for a minute.
Michaels and Stone Cold. He was the guest referee.
all right. So if we had to say, if we're putting Mike Tyson's Punch Out and then the Super Nintendo version of Super Punch Out, who are your favorite characters?
I mean, it's
Who wants to
easy.
start? We're gonna go with Todd first.
Easy. I mean, Sean already mentioned it. Soda Popinski. I even have a picture of him hanging in my man cave, like right when you walk.
Soda Popinski dancing to the center of the ring was the funniest thing ever.
The true story though, like before they created the game, his last name was supposed to be Drunkinski, but they wouldn't allow him to release it. So they
Didn't know
made
that.
Popinski.
I got a side question for Todd. Then who is your favorite Super Punch Out character?
Ugh.
Oh, come on, you know this answer.
I don't know him as well. That was all NES.
I'd have to
I
think
mean,
about this.
If I'm looking at Super Punch Out, I mean, I think I know who he wants me to go with, and it's Narcissus Prince.
Yep.
The pretty boy who didn't like getting hit in the face.
Narcissus Prince.
I like Narcissus Prince.
I don't remember a lot of Super Punch Out characters.
Well, look, I'll say two
Yeah.
in the next instance of what we're talking about Punch Out compared to Super Punch Out, because I definitely have two favorite characters in each game. King Hippo was my favorite in
yes,
Punch Out.
yes.
Man, you had to avoid hitting him in the belly, you had to hit him in the face. But then you go into Super Punch Out, and I guess being a twin kind of resonated a little bit with this. But the two main characters in Super Punch Out were Rick and Nick Bruiser. One had earrings, one did not. I like the one with earrings. His name was Rick Bruiser. So he was my, if I had to say overall favorite, Rick Bruiser, favorite of Super Punch Out and regular Punch Out.
You sure it's not Gabby J?
Gabby J. Yay! All
Well,
right, who's next?
we'll have to come back to it, but like top 5 Super Nintendo game systems, just for that platform.
Oh, that might be a top 5 for next week.
Games.
Might be.
That's just
just
Woo!
games.
All right, look,
a lot of thought goes into that one.
I know.
write it down. Next show, we're gonna do top 5. Do we do
Just NES or just
right?
SNES?
Right. You can
Like,
break
we
it.
could
You can
just-
break it down by system.
What about Don? Remember Don Flamenco?
I do.
It was like Adam
Flamenco.
Sandler.
That was kind of the Gabby J of regular Punch Out.
So I just did a little like Google
Yeah, that was
and
blast,
Wikipedia
yeah.
to find out what Soda Popinski's first name was, because I knew his last name was Drunkinski.
Mhm.
It was actually Vodka Drunkinski,
they should have left that in.
but they changed it due to controversy surrounding his name's reference. Obviously,
Yeah, I guess so.
I-
With a
Kids game, you
sure.
really can't have Vodka Drunkinski as a character.
Damn it, Sean! I can't believe you ruined my joke. I was going to take Glass Joe and Soda Popinski as my favorite boxer of all time, and you just ruined
Nobody
it.
mentioned Bald Bull.
He's a good one too.
What about the Sandman?
I was going to
Also-
say,
also
was
a
he
good
the
one.
Sandman or
Well,
Mr.
Super
Sandman?
Boss.
Are you just saying Sandman because Patrick Black?
Wait, who's black?
Who's black?
Oh, who?
What?
Who?
And on that bombshell, it's time for a shot in the end of this podcast episode. Cheers, gentlemen.
What are we having?
I don't know, but let's do it. Toast to the Western wagon.
Wasted wagons.
Some Tullamore Dew out of a Jameson Mason jar.
Yummy.